crazy summer nights. I'm just going to take you through a typical warm summer evening of drinking when I was in the West End of London. I'm going to take you from maybe 4 p.m. for an 8 till 4 shift. I used to work just off Regent Street in Savile Row and always had a drink after work if the pubs were open. And it's been a beautiful day today, hasn't it? Sunshine, warm, lots of people about, and I'd always think I'll just have a couple of pints. And my favourite haunt was a place called the Red Lion, which is a Samuel Smith's pub. In those days, that was the cheapest sort of chain in London. Had a lot of pubs in Soho, which is my sort of beat as a policeman. Soho, Mayfair was my beat, but mainly the pubs were in Soho. And I used to go over there, sometimes with some people, sometimes with not people I work with, and just meet people over there and have a few drinks. And that was the fantasy was really of it. The summer nights, having a few drinks, and there wasn't much room outside. The streets there are very narrow. Carnaby Street was next to it, which is behind Hamley's Toy Shop, if you know London. But the manager there, he put a couple of big barrels, 36-gallon barrels, empty ones, outside. He used them as tables and stand outside. We used to get the sun until about 9 o'clock. And I'd message the wife, and I would say, I'm going for a couple of drinks. We had pagers then, no mobile phones. I'll not be too late, because I've got a weekend off or something. And I'd have a couple of drinks, and the first one didn't touch the sides. I mean, it was so, just like amber nectar. You know the stupid advert, amber nectar. The first drink was so refreshing. Oh, well, we'll have another one. You can't just have one, can you? And have another one. I take about 20 seconds to drink. I used to drink them and just gulp. That was a pint gone for me. This Ingerbrow lager it was. It was quite strong, but there's another one called Pills, Ingerbrow Pills. About 4 or 5 pints in an hour. Then I used to meet a guy called John the Prince, who was a massive drinker. He used to come in. And another fellow was from Burberry's. He was a big drinker. We used to just get together, you know. It was like just crazy times. The streets would be busy. People would be, you know, talking, having a laugh. It was just all. I associated alcohol with fun, you see. And then I get about 7 or a few pints, but about 6, 7 by then I could drink very quickly. I sort of drink quickly now. There's Guinness Zero I have. And my fiance keeps saying, "Oh, you like a non-alcoholic alcoholic? You drink a lot of them." I drink volume, you see. And then somebody else would join the crowd, maybe 4 or 5 of us now. One guy came in, he'd been to Thailand, he had a place over there, and get chatting. By the time you know, well, you look at your watch again, it's 8:30, isn't it? My mother, who's 94 soon, says the clock always spins faster when you're having a drink. It's true, isn't it? Have a few more, and then we get a bit later, and I sort of lost the will to live to go home by then. And I just kept drinking. So 9 o'clock comes, and then I paged her, she was paging me manically, or even ringing the pub. Embarrassment with your mates, and you know, that's your wife, is on the phone again, you know. Oh, I got stuck, we're dealing with something at work, and she'd say, "Oh, you're lying, twat," and all that, you know, usual stuff we get domestics. By that time, I'd lost all capacity, really. I didn't want to go home. I was having such a good time. That's what happens, isn't it? We start with these good intentions of having a couple of drinks, but I never made it home a lot of times. I did sometimes, don't get me wrong, but it's just, you know, this is like in the summer, I blame the summer, I blame the sunshine and the heat and the circumstances, the people I work with, the people I knew, and the fact that I'm quite a sociable person. I only blame myself for getting myself in a mess. And that's where we've got to get out of it. Anyway, sometimes we'd get about 10ish at time, oh, I must get home. And then somebody from the station would come in at 10:30 in the boozer because they'd finished late. Do you fancy going to a club? Oh, well, I might as well. And then we used to wander off to some nightclub, either Rheingold, which is closed now, Hombres, that might be closed as well. Years, it's a long time ago. And then we'd go in there, and by that time I knew I was going to like dust down the section house or somewhere, or a cheap hotel. We get cheap rooms there, and I used to just drink more and more and more. And it was a total mess. My life was a mess, really. But I was still enjoying it. I looked pretty good. I was very fit. I was young, you know. And then we'd get a bit later, and then we'd go out Piccadilly Circus and get a slice of pizza or something, try and get our heads down for a couple of hours, and when you woke up the next day, sort of 7 o'clock or whatever, you'd feel fucking terrible. Absolutely terrible. Spent a load of cash you didn't have. Probably got it on the credit card. I used to use credit cards, and so I used to try and hide the bills and all that sort of thing. And I'd regret the whole thing. But I thought I was having a really good time, you see. And then I'd go home, and then I knew I had a couple of days off after that. And so by the time I got home, I was timed, so I got home and she'd gone to work by then. There was no like major immediate domestic, but I knew it was coming later. And I'd go to bed for a couple of hours, take the dog out for a couple of hours, and I'd wake up and be midday again and start drinking again. It was my day off. And then by the time she got back, I had a bit of Dutch courage, and I used to drink all weekend again. And that's what happened to me. I couldn't stop. You know what I mean? I didn't want the party to finish. And I had massive FOMO, fear of missing out on these occasions. And that starts us off. I think I was a heavy drinker in my 20s because I used to enjoy it. To me, the bright lights of London was fantastic, coming from a small northern town. And to that end, I don't blame it on anybody, but I found it fascinating how cities worked and how I associated all of the good things in life, the money making, the smart people, with alcohol. And it's still like that, still advertise it. I mean, you've got David Beckham and other stars who advertise alcohol. It's widely advertised, isn't it? And it is associated with power and money, you know, private jets, people drinking pink champagne, all this sort of thing. Went to Saint-Tropez a few years ago. People were drinking Cristal champagne at ridiculous prices, thousands of euros a bottle, you know, all this sort of thing. And it was very over-glamorized. And you've got to get it out of your head that it's a good thing, because it's a terrible thing. It kills people. It nearly killed me. And it might kill you, or disable you, or shorten your life in some way, or make the rest of your life pretty horrific to live it. And because when I was heavy drinking, I didn't live, I just existed, barely existed. You probably heard the stories of rats in the flat, total mess, didn't speak to anybody, became insular, became depressed, all that sort of thing. So what started as a really nice summer night, like tonight, right? Some of you will go out tonight and have a few drinks. I'll do a live later as well. I'm starting to do lives most night. It's nice to keep people company in a way. You'll go out tonight with this intention on 2 or 3 drinks, and you'll be there all night. That's the problem, you see. We can't stop. We can't be social drinkers. We can either have 0 or we can have 100. And that's the way our minds work, and that's the problem with alcoholics. You can't just have 1 or 2. But my typical night, I mean, to spend a fortune on a night like that, you know, I did it regularly. And if I didn't have a full session like that, I'd have 6-7 pints. It was expensive in central London. And I worked hard, I did a lot of overtime. My wife had a good job. But the money we used to spend just on it, well, entertaining for me, because she didn't drink. Didn't do very much at all, really. That's probably why the marriage didn't work. However, if we both drank, I would have been living in the streets, because I spent fortunes, you know. Spent fortunes on drink. Got into debt through using these credit cards. Used to go to the Bureau de Change, I don't know if you remember them. There was one in Oxford Circus, used to just give me £100 out on that card. Because of the type of job I had, I was good for credit. Get another card, and I think, oh wow, I've got a post office credit card or whatever it was. Santander credit card, I'm rich now with £10,000 credit. But actually it's £10,000 of debt you're taking on, isn't it? The money was crazy, the drinking was crazy, my health was suffering, and my whole life suffered. I didn't progress in the job that I was doing very well because of that, I'm sure. I would have got more out. I would have had more structure in my life. But it wasn't just me, a lot of us did it. But it's just a typical example of how any excuse for a drink, isn't it? Beautiful summer night, let's get on the piss. And you try your best to have 2, 3, 4 pints and think, well, I'm going to go home at 8 o'clock. But you well, I never did, or rarely did. Unless I had a valid reason, a very strong reason to go. So watch what you're doing. You know, try and control it a little bit if you can. I wish I'd had somebody like me to talk to me when I was younger, because I've been through every scenario of alcoholism from the start to the finish. I was, you know, weeks away from passing away. So I can talk forever about this because I've had so many different situations, some dangerous, some semi-good, some horrific, some hospital. I've just had everything in my life to do with alcohol. And I'll help you if you want my help. And if you benefit from the videos, then please subscribe and share them. I've got an ebook out as well. It's only $5.99. Everyone can afford $5.99. It's a good handy reference if you want to go, well, if you're thinking about going drinking again. You can have a look at the ebook and it'll bring you back down, I think. As well, I can say that. I'll do one-to-ones as well one-to-one mentoring and support. There's a link. I'll put a link to that in the video. It's on all the videos. All the video descriptions have a link in there for the one-to-one. If you want to talk about anything in particular, then get in touch. And so I've just started doing these lives. They might not be super polished yet, but they don't need to be. All I'm trying to do is get a message across. I'll speak to you all soon.